Good evening. My name is Peggy Kell, and I'm the Voter Service Chair for the Oak Park River Forest League of Women Voters. Tonight, we will be recording uncontested statements from the Oak Park School District 97 candidates. This means that we're 4 open seats in addition to an open appointed seat, which means there are 5 openings and there's 5 people running. Candidates will be making a 3-minute statements about why they're running. No questions will be asked. These recordings will then be posted on our website at lwvoprf.org and on the library's website for later viewing by voters. The league does not endorse candidates, but does believe that voters should hear from those that are running to represent them, even if the contest is uncontested. Our league will be having candidate forums for the contested races in Oak Park, River Forest, and Forest Park in the next few weeks. Please visit our website for the dates and the links to register, as all the forums or all of our forums will be virtual. All forums in the community are also listed on our website. So some neighborhood organizations, the Wednesday Journals forums are also listed on our website. So if you want to see what's going on with anybody, it's listed on our website, lwvoprf.org. You can also email questions for candidates at these forums by emailing lwvoprf1924@gmail.com. The Oak Park Library is our valued partner in these forums. Thanks to Rashmi Swain for all her help with the technology for this event, and Amelia Vargas, who will be our timer tonight. In alphabetical order, the candidates speaking tonight are Colleen Burns, Gavin Carney, Young Kim, and Holly Spurlak. So the first speaker will be Colleen Burns. And you can start when you're ready and unmuted.
Hi, thanks. My name is Colleen Burns, and I'm delighted to be here this evening. I have lived in Oak Park since 2017. I have 4 kids, 3 students at BI, and 1 more starting in the fall. Since moving here, I have been deeply involved in our community, both micro and macro. Over the years, I've led a Girl Scout troop and chaired the Disability Access Commission. Currently, I serve on the board of the BI School PTO, as well as the board of trustees for the Oak Park Public Library. As a member of the library board the last 4 years, I have served on iGov and have had the opportunity to coordinate with the other governing bodies, including D97. I have loved my time on the library, but will not be seeking another term to focus my attention on D97. I am an attorney by trade and have dedicated my career to public service, specializing in public benefit programs. Currently, I lead the work of the Illinois Commission to End Hunger, working to ensure equitable delivery and access to federal nutrition programs like SNAP, WIC, and school meals. This work requires collaboration with internal and external partners to build coalitions capable of systems change. I have spent my career tackling complex policy issues and successfully implementing solutions. So why did I decide to run? We know that schools are more than centers of learning. They are the center of our community. I'm proud of our schools, and at the same time, I'm invested in making them the best that they can be for all students and families. My goals for the next 2 years include helping to build on the incredible foundational work the board has done implementing the district's equity policy, listening to the community to understand new goals and priorities, and exploring ways to deepen collaborations underway and nurture new ones. Values that I bring to my work and will bring to the board include a commitment to advancing equity, transparency, accountability, and sustainability. I will seek out and welcome diverse perspectives that will help us to find a common path forward. I am so grateful for the opportunity to speak tonight, and I look forward to many more conversations about supporting our D97 schools.
Thank you, Colleen. Next is Gavin Carney.
Hi, my name is Gavin Carney. I'm a current D97 school board member. I'm a father of 2 kids. I have a freshman at OPRF who went to Irving and Julian, and I have a 6th grader at Julian who also went to Irving. My partner Tasha is a university educator, and I'm a lawyer for an organization called Earth Justice, where I work to advance clean energy and address the climate crisis in an equitable way. My family moved to Oak Park in 2015, we were drawn significantly by Oak Park's values and progressive history, but also became concerned about areas where our values and our reality don't match up. And I think one of the places where this is evident is in our schools. As a parent, before I joined the school board, I worked with school board members at the time and other parents to draft the district's equity policy. I advocated for its passage, and I ran for the school board the first time, in large part because I was interested in playing a more meaningful role in ensuring that the policy was put into practice. The last 4 years have certainly been very different from what I or anybody else expected. And obviously a lot of that time is committed to navigating the pandemic and also to navigating a change in leadership in the district. But I'm excited about where we are today. I'm excited about the leadership we have in place, and I'm excited to work with Superintendent Shaw, with my fellow board members, with D97 teachers and staff, students in the community, to make real serious progress on ensuring that all of our kids in Oak Park have access to an excellent education and access to an equitable education. It's this promise and this potential that led me to run for re-election, even though some of my friends speculated that I was a glutton for punishment. I'm also excited in the coming year in particular, in addition to the equity work, to working with others in the district to develop a sustainability policy for D97 and a sustainability plan. I think that climate change and climate equity are among the most important issues that our kids will confront in their lifetime. And we have an opportunity to prepare them to learn about and engage with it effectively. I think if we do it right, we can give kids a sense of agency. We can make them feel like they have a meaningful role to play in addressing what can feel like a very overwhelming issue. I also think that working on a policy and a plan is a great vehicle for bringing together all the stakeholders in our community, bringing teachers, staff, administration, board members, parents, and other community members to work on a common purpose. And so I'm excited to do that. I look forward to working with all of you for another 4 years. I'm looking forward to engaging with anybody that might be listening tonight during that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Jung Kim is next. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jung Kim. I'm the current president of the school board. I have 2 kids in the district. We came out of Lincoln Middle School. Now they're at Lincoln Elementary School, and they're both at the middle school now. And since it's a thing we do in Oak Park, I've been here since 2004. I always think it's interesting we timestamp our arrivals. This is actually my 23rd year in education overall. I do it as a profession. So I'm a former high school English teacher and literacy coach, and currently a teacher, educator, professor, and researcher. My experience is actually in high school, both teaching and having been a student are part of the reasons that led to kind of a deepening interest in issues of equity. I went to high school in the North Shore suburbs and taught on the west side of Chicago. And I saw very deeply 2 different institutions that are considered public schools and how deeply divided they were in terms of resources, equity, access to experienced teachers. And this led me to a desire to do more. In terms of my paying job, because I have lots of jobs, as I work closely with educators in the Chicago area, both as students in the program that I work in, as well as colleagues. And I'm also engaged nationally in terms of conversations around literacy research and teachers and equity. My teaching and research areas are focused on understanding how we can improve our schools, and then how can we help them be spaces where everyone can feel validated and achieve their best. For a very long time, I believe strongly in education. Clearly, this is part of my career, and particularly in public education. I think as a current educator, it's been pretty disturbing or disappointing to see how public education has been attacked across the country. And this is part of my reasons for wanting to run again. I initially ran because I felt like I had something to give back to my community, and I feel like I still do. I want to improve education at Oak Park. I believe the community has both the progressive values, the will, and the desire to address issues of equity in education. But I think there's a lot more we could be doing. There were a lot of friends who joked about that you wish you hadn't run during the pandemic. And so I think that's part of the reasons I want to run again, is I felt like we tried to do the best we could with the decisions we had to make to keep our children and our teachers and our staff healthy and safe. But there were also a lot of curricular decisions and kind of the daily ins and outs of teaching and learning that we weren't able to address as a board, particularly around issues of equity. I'm also really excited for our not so new superintendent, Dr. Ushma Shah, and continuing to work with her, as well as the deep collaboration and respect I have for my fellow board members. And then finally, I think one really exciting piece of news is Pritzker's early focus on early childhood education and our continuing collaboration within the district to do that. So I hope to engage with all of you in the future, and thank you so much.
Thank you. I apologize. I left off one of the candidates named Cherie Moore, who will speak next. Cherie?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cherie Moore, and I am a current board member. So this it will be my second term. I have 3 children in the district. I have twins that are in 4th grade at Hatch Elementary, and a middle schooler who is in halfway through 6th grade year. So I survived middle school almost. I ran initially because I'm an alumna of D97 and also D200. So I've been in the district for a very long time. I won't age myself, but my husband and I are both alumni of the district, and we wanted to give back as opposed to, you know, just sitting on the sidelines and talking about what can be better. I decided, and my husband's luckily supported me in getting in there and doing something about it, because we do care. I think the question after "will you marry me" is, can we move back to Oak Park? And so that it shows a commitment to his love of Oak Park. And so, you know, we're happy and ecstatic to be here. We've been here raising our kiddos. Professionally, I am a people operations manager for the Inclusive Economy Lab, which is part of the University of Chicago. In our lab, we focus on policy research, which impacts college and career success and quality jobs and financial security. So those are 2 things that I think go hand in hand with this work, creating policy, talking about education and the role of community colleges. So as we look at how early education impacts high school, and then how that impacts, you know, your trajectory and your employment and opportunities there. And so a lot of the work that I do professionally informs some of the decisions that I make at the board table. And so I think it's a great match. Also, just growing up in the district, being a Black alumna, I had a different experience than a lot of my counterparts. And so I bring that experience to the table. When I initially ran, I was the only renter. And so I think that was a unique perspective of someone who, you know, was on the outskirts of Oak Park. And so I wanted to bring that perspective so that families that traditionally have been disinvested in, who have not had a seat at the table, had someone who they felt they could come to and learn just a little bit more about the district if they had questions. And so I wanted to be that person. And so I'm super excited to continue to work with Holly and Gavin and Jung. And I'm just in awe of them and their talent. And so just being able to continue to learn from them and Dr. Shaw is really exciting for me.
Thank you very much. Our last candidate speaking tonight is Holly Spurlock.
Good evening. My name is Holly Spurlock. I'm a candidate for the D97 school board, joining my colleagues here. This will be my 3rd term as a D97 board member. I'm looking forward to serving the community, our students, families, and D97 staff for another 4 years. By way of background, my husband and I moved to Oak Park in September of 2012, to date myself there. I have 2 kids, an 8th grader at Brooks and a 5th grader at Whittier. I was first elected to the board when my daughter was a kindergartner, and my son will graduate from Brooks during the last full year of this 3rd term. So they have never gone to school in D97 without me being a board member. I'm not sure how they exactly feel about that. It's something I'm sure we'll talk about for years to come. I've reflected frequently on what the district has accomplished during my first 2 terms. I'm proud of the fact that I was on the board that adopted one of the most comprehensive equity policies in the country. I'm also proud that we launched co-teaching, multi-tiered systems of support. Through both of those initiatives and others, we've created more inclusive classrooms for our students that allows us to identify students who need ongoing and consistent support, as well as students who might need support on a single concept or short-term basis. I'm also more confident now that our facilities and finances are in better shape than they were 8 years ago. When I think about how much the team has accomplished, however, I also know we have more work to do. I'm so appreciative of how our team did everything they could to thrive during COVID. Our teachers and staff supported our school community in an incredibly difficult time. In addition to COVID, we underwent a year under the leadership of two superintendents that were interims. Our interim superintendents and the team rose to the occasion and made sure we did not fall behind, but the pandemic and leadership transition slowed our progress. The equity policy was barely halfway through the first year of implementation when the pandemic shut down the world. And it's urgent that we fully implement our equity policy and that our students of color, including my children, experience D97 in a way that supports their excellence. As a board member who's experienced a shift in board makeup every 2 years since 2015, I know firsthand the learning curve of first-year board members, and each new board member comes in earnest and works hard to catch up, but it takes all of us time. It also takes time for the board to reconstitute itself as a governing body with its new members. As this election grew closer and Dr. Shaw started to present her plans for implementing the equity policy and talking about transforming the district, and my board colleagues and I started to consider how we could support the efforts, it became clear to me that the best thing I could do for the district right now is to run for re-election to provide that continuity. Do my part to support Dr. Shaw and the system so that it doesn't have to have another fit or start like we did during COVID and with changes in leadership. I think it is going to do a great service for the community to have a seamless transition to the board. We're going to welcome Colleen, who's been serving on a board in Oak Park. And I think that the system will thrive without delay as a result. I'm confident that my values and my colleagues' values align to the community. I have gained so much knowledge needed over the last 8 years to continue to support our district in reaching its goals. And I truly believe this continuity of the D97 board will allow us to make up some lost time due to COVID. I look forward to working with my colleagues to continue the work that I know we are all deeply committed to and to serving the community. Thank you.
Well, thank you to all the candidates, those incumbents. We thank you for your service so far, and for the new candidates, get set for some busy time ahead. Again, early voting will start in a few weeks here for the municipal elections. Election day is April 2nd. So we urge everybody, even in uncontested races, to please get out and vote. And again, candidates, thank you very much for sharing your time with us. Again, this will be posted on our website, on the library's website. It'll take a few days, but we'll have it up there as soon as we're done with it. Thank you again. Good night.
Good to see y'all.